This may outwardly appear to be everyone's ideal country cottage, but Lower Southwood's two adjoining homes aren't all what they seem. However, we still can't be sure what connection a poltergeist holds to the homes where it regularly tips tables and plays havoc with electrical appliances. Our new spiritualist medium Gordon Smith has though sensed a link, one that strongly ties a male soul to a grieving lady. But would his sensory perceptions increase as we continue to explore this home?
I mean, again, this still feels like this activity to me. Lots of real, almost earthbound activity, where there has been physical things happening around here. There's also been something happening with electrical things.
Right.
A computer's switched on, or
right.
something like that has happened, because I can feel all of this.
That has happened.
Angst. I just feel it as angst, but I know that there's just, I can work off of that, is what I'm getting.
What, the spirit person is working with the electricity?
And he can work, it's almost like I've got to say the grandfather, because he obviously is connected with the children, and that's how he's making me feel more like the grandfather. Even though I've got to say his daughter, she wears his ring, or she does there's something connecting the two of them together, that she keeps of his. There's something there. And there's also, one of his last memories was of being honoured as a military man, as an older man. And he's here, he's really happy to be here, because it's like he's trying to sort out a lot of this stuff. And I do believe that it's like he died in, I don't know, he died in the toilet. But there's something like that.
He died in the bathroom.
Well, that's what it felt like. I was going to the toilet and then I died. But that's the power of the man. At one minute he's in my head, and then the next minute he's gone.
This part of Lower Southwood has been occupied by Barbie Thomas for nearly 30 years, and until 2000 it was also home to her husband Mike. But despite his unfortunate passing, it does appear that his spirit and soul remain in the house that they loved and shared.
Right, this feels like his room. This feels like where he should be. I feel comfortable in here. All right. And I'm sure he's made himself known in here. His presence has been felt. I do feel as though he's come up, sat in the bed, or it's almost like the woman has actually felt his presence close to her, because I can almost feel that I want to go and sit here and just sit beside her.
And she knows it's him.
Absolutely. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People sensing and feeling the spirit world around them. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's only if there's other stuff there that's not coming out. And I do believe that there's other emotional stuff that's not being allowed out. And I think it's something to do with the nature of the way the man passed. That there's still a lot of grieving that was not done. And as long as she feels his presence close, then she doesn't need to grieve.
I see.
So that's stopping that natural process.
Are you happy to talk to her about this?
Absolutely, yeah. I have no problem with that at all.
So Gordon and Mike's widow Barbie did spend time alone in private to discuss thoughts, feelings, and to enjoy a communication that her daughter Penny was later able to discuss with us.
Penny, how do you feel that reading went with Gordon and your mum?
It's fantastic.
Yeah?
Absolutely brilliant.
What was good for your mum to hear, do you think?
It kind of really confirmed a lot of things that she felt and thought anyway about my father being sort of in and around with her and being here, and when she goes away on holidays that he's with her as well.
And did Gordon get
He did.
Right?
He absolutely confirmed that he's constant with my mum, because they've got this bond together.
That's great.
Which is really comforting for her.
Okay, and do you think this now is going to help with the atmosphere in the house?
Oh, absolutely. I think it separates what's spirit contact from the other stuff that's been going on, the sort of poltergeist stuff, and knowing and being able to identify, like your father being able to give me clear information on his life, the things, his job, and all the things. I was asking him for evidence. Okay, if you're here, you tell me things that I can't know. And that's what
he knew, definitely. He knew my father's name and the profession that he was in as well.
Oh, so that's fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've seen you and your mum with big smiles on your faces wandering around. So it's going to make a real big difference to the house and the atmosphere now.
Yes, I think so, definitely.
Great.
has this family finally found an answer to some of the many questions that puzzle their daily home life, although determining how many souls exist here may be a different matter. So we asked our other medium to take in the weirdly wonderful atmosphere of Lower Southwood's 2 buildings, and David Wells begins just where Gordon had, in cottage number 2's dining room.
This room doesn't feel extra specially active. All I can say is that since I've come into the building, I have been aware of one energy around me, and it seems to be, if I had to say, it's male, because it's not very well defined. It's one of these, you know, classic shadow things. This one seems to me like an attention grabber, therefore he will move things.
Okay. Do you think he's here all the time, or...?
Yeah, he's grounded, yeah.
Definitely?
Yeah, definitely grounded, this one.
Right.
Most definitely.
Do you think he's previous resident of the house then?
Yes, yeah, undoubtedly.
Right.
How long ago would you say he would have lived here?
I would say a couple of 100 years, maybe even more than that, maybe 250 years ago.
At 400 years of age, this property has encountered its fair share of occupants, and although few other details exist, the time frame given by David would suggest the same period that saw these buildings once act as a farmhouse. But we needed more on our attention-grabbing male energy. Perhaps the playroom would encourage more of the same.
It's a bit more twitchy in here.
Twitchy? What do you mean?
Well, it feels a bit more of a presence, a bit more... I tell you what, it almost feels like nippy to me. The energy feels like, you know, it's nippy. Do you know what I mean? It's picking at me.
So, who is? The same dark
It's the
shadow?
same. It's the same one. It almost feels like he's in my face. He's like this, and he's kind of, and this is energetically. He's not poking me, but the energy is really spiky. He's making this part of my face really numb. This part here really numb.
Is there a reason for that?
This is energetically your third. Well, it's your third eye. It's,
right.
So it's this part of me that sees, if you like, that creates the pictures inside my head. So it's banging open.
Yeah, because we know from neurology that's the pineal gland. That particular, when you went like that.
Right.
It's just asking. Some people say that that particular area of the brain is associated with psychic activity. So it's just interesting you say that.
It would make sense for the the chakra, the energy points in the body. That's the
The
that's the area.
pineal gland.
Yeah.
Wow, it's the first time I've heard of it. So can you actually see? Are you going to make a clearer picture of what this man would have looked like now?
He's got quite a long, pale, drawn face. Classic, I think, ghostly face. I mean, I know that sounds a bit old Hammer House-ish, but you know what I mean? It's a very, very long, kind of lurchy Addams Family face.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not particularly attractive, I have to say.
And what's he wearing?
Quite
Can you
scary.
see?
He's just black. It's all black.
The beauty of this investigation is that we're covering not just one, but 2 properties, and both are regularly subjected to intense bouts of possible paranormal phenomena. So we move next door to the home of Penny and her husband Simon. Different walls, but, as we're about to find out, the same old energies.
When I come in here, the first thing I want to do, physically impressed on me, is I want to just get this and cowp it over.
Really?
Turn it right over. Knock those apples flying.
Why? Who's doing that?
Shove furniture about.
Who? Who's doing
It's
it?
this man again. It's this male energy again.
That's what he's done.
So he's done. It's almost like marched in and just went.
But why? Why is... He's got to be angry to do that.
It is to me anger or attention seeking.
That's what you said. Yeah,
Yeah.
you said earlier on it's attention
Right.
seeking, and
Yeah.
you think that's the same.
But I bet he doesn't do it and they see it.
No, it's always they'll come down and things
it's
will
done.
be moved. Yeah. So this family,
This is
they're not imagining these things.
I don't think so. It's almost like this is in his way. Now, would he... So if he came in from here and he was going this way, that would be in his way. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
So I sense as if he's doing that...
Get
and he
out of the
wants-
way.
Gets that out of the way because he wants to head that way.
Right. Richard, is any of this making sense to you?
Yeah. Shall I wait until I'm stay here?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. There's a great history of poltergeist activity in this place. things are pushed and moved and turned over, and they don't know who it is.
Would this male spirit, if pushed, if they did something that they didn't like, or they renovated somewhere or changed the house that he didn't like, do you think he would do something more violent? Do you think he's capable of that?
I guess the only way he could do that is, and I don't mean this to sound frightening to the family in any way, shape or form, is to almost not possess but to encourage